How's it going, everybody? So in this video, I want to talk to y'all about my current herb stack and what I've been working with and how it has been working with me. Okay, so man, I've been making a lot of update videos over the last 3 months or so. Um, and that's because I've been really dialing in this herb stack and making it absolutely perfect. All of these herbs that I'm taking right now and that I have been working with are herbs that I've taken, for pretty consistent periods of time on and off for over the last couple years. So I have a lot of experience with all of them. So right off the bat, I highly recommend this book right here. All About Ginseng, Frequently Asked Questions by Stephan Folder, PhD. Okay. So for those who don't know, Stephan Folder, he actually is one of the leading experts on ginseng, and he actually conducted a lot of the research, the clinical research on ginseng that is used in a lot of the most prominent studies and whatnot. His research is pretty commonly referenced, and he has some of the most commonly referenced studies that were led actually by him. So I've been honestly reading way more ginseng books than I probably should be. Because when I find something that works for me really, really well, I like to start with the what works, and does this work, right? And does this work for a lot of different people? And then once I find something that works really well like that, anecdotally, then looking into the research on top of that and diving deep, deep, deep to find out why is it working so well. Obviously, anyone who's been into herbs and natural medicine and whatnot for as long as I have has been, aware of the research on ginseng and has read comprehensive reviews of the literature and things like that, because ginseng is one of the most well-studied and well-documented herbs. So anyway, so I've been reading a lot of ginseng books lately, and I have not found such a tiny and precise book like this that encompasses all of the different areas of benefits of a plant, especially ginseng, and it does so without getting too technical of jargon, right? There's a lot of books, especially on ginseng, that focus on, they have chapters, like pages and pages and pages full of study breakdowns, and then just breaking down, the HPA axis and the your body's fight or flight response, and how ginseng plays a role in balancing out your HPA axis and all this stuff. And yeah, it's just a lot of hypothetical jargon that even someone with a science, like anyone who understands science as deeply as, they should, right? Who understands what science is and knows its limitations, understands why a book just focusing on technical jargon just may not be the highest value material that you could be indulging in. A lot of that's just kind of like mental masturbation, essentially. But this one is a lot more practical how-tos. What is it going to do to you? And puts into like a real life type of context, while also grounding it in research and studies and things. But this is a lot more user-friendly. But make no mistake, considering this guy is one of the leading researchers in ginseng, in the studies on ginseng, he does have a book that goes deeper into the technical jargon as well. Just this is a condensed version summarizing all of his research and things. This is, I believe, this is probably his last book on ginseng that he wrote. So it was a later piece, I think. So he has a deeper book. It's called The Book of Ginseng, and it's like 300 pages long. So it's way bigger than this book. And it was released like 5 or 10 years before this one. So Anyway, but yeah, highly recommend that. So yeah, starting this video off with a bang. Ginseng, as those of you who have known, like the last 3 months or so since I won that last gold medal, man. So May, June, man. So a whole 2 months, I was taking, or I have been taking. That's what, 8. So 9 weeks. I have now been taking 9 weeks consistent ginseng user right here as of now. So 2 whole teaspoons of American ginseng powder, okay, from Wisconsin, was it Dairyland LLC or whatever? They're like a family-owned Wisconsin ginseng farm. And they grow their own American ginseng, and they also sell 6-year-old Panax Asian red ginseng roots. You buy the roots just plain out, so you know that it's legit, or just buy the ground powder. And so, ground powder has more surface area. So when you're buying the raw stuff, since it's not a standardized extract, it's always better to have a ground powder and then just blend it with piping hot water. Or you could make a decoction, boil it down, but I don't know if that's really necessary. The ground powder having more surface area means it's going to extract a lot more efficiently, to the point where you can use the raw powder and get the saponins and the active constituents out of it in an effective fashion, even though it's not a standardized extract, right? Because standardized extracts, they essentially, or not even standardized, but a concentrated extract, right? Like a 4-to-1 extract. They'll take 4 pounds of an herb, boil it down to 1. You don't need, it's already extracted, it's pre-extracted. Compared to this stuff, you got to extract it in hot water. But yeah, so ground powder is better. But anyway, yeah, so 2 teaspoons of that American ginseng, 1/2 of a teaspoon of that red Panax ginseng. And, my herbs stack or whatever has been getting more simpler and simpler over time. Me and Brandon Gilbert from Hyperion Herbs, we jive about this all the time, and we have a podcast like 2 hours long if you haven't seen it already, where we discuss how these biohacking people and whatnot, man, like the people are super addicted to like overcomplicating health information, nutrition information. It's really an addiction to consumerism. These people, like, they're all like Dave Asprey, Mark Hyman. I mean, they're always, and look, broccoli on the front cover. They worship broccoli. Isn't that funny? Like, ooh, broccoli. Ooh, my God, broccoli, right? I mean, why the fuck is broccoli like so worshipped and praised? It's like a super hybridized frankenfood from the last 200 years that came from a poisonous plant that wasn't even edible. And now we got people like Rhonda Patrick, broccoli sprouts, and that's her fucking famous catchphrase. People worshiping broccoli, fucking Popeye and his spinach. Like, bro, you need all the spinach that you want. You're not gonna get big muscles like Popeye. That's fucking hilarious. But when I was a child, I used to love spinach. I was addicted to it, but which is weird, I guess. I don't know. I love bitter compounds. It's probably why I like tonic herbs so much. Yeah, anyway, where was I? What was I saying? Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Nah, people make this shit like way too complicated. They got these crazy like 20 pills a day, different multivitamins and all these different herbs and nootropics. People don't know what the hell is doing what. You know what I mean? And like, for me, what I noticed is the more herbs I took, the worse I felt at a certain point. But yeah, so these days I realize minimalism is my savior. I want the 20% of methods that yield me 80% of results, right? And so I want the most powerful herbs that encompass all the things that I want. And I could spend more money on a tinier percentage of herbs, right? get higher quality of those versions, right? Not have to worry too much about, am I going to have enough money for food, or am I going to have enough money for, all the 20 different other herbs I'm going to take. Instead, I'm like, look, I'm going to take, like right now, American ginseng, red Panax ginseng, rhodiola, and cordyceps. And then I just recently added Hyperion Herbs Reishi into my nightly routine. That's 5 herbs. When I was getting ready for competition recently, I think I was still taking a minimalist stack. But anyway, I've had periods of time like where I was taking like 12 to 20 herbs, black maca, and all this crazy stuff. And like, back in my day when I was really experimenting, like 2016, 2017, I would take yohimbe, I would take maca, tribulus. I had a whole multivitamin stack. I took a whole bunch of stuff on top of like a pre-workout formula that had like 50 different things in it and a shit ton of caffeine. Anyway, yeah, so I just feel like the kind of like, overcomplicated, tons of different things, like the more things people take, I just feel like that's a lot of anxiety. And that's coming from somebody who understands the mechanisms of action behind the plausible mechanisms of action. Because a lot of these things, they claim a mechanism of action, but you don't actually know if that's even the case or what that even means. A lot of people just assume they do, right? Like, oh, it dopamine D1 receptor, oh, so it makes sense. It's like, nah, man, like it's more complicated than that, but okay, right? Ashwagandha just blunts your cortisol, therefore it's good. Like, okay, if you say so. Or lion's mane kills DHT levels, and that's why I felt blah, blah, blah. It's like, probably not true. It's not acting like finasteride, brother, but okay. All right. I got post-finasteride syndrome from freaking lion's mane. Okay, brother, sure you did. Right? No, Reddit told me. No. Probably not, bro. Look, there's a study done on an isolated testicle cell that showed that this isolated compound taken in 50,000 times a normal human dose, it demasculinized and infertilized a male testicle cell in a test tube study done in the middle of the ocean. Like, okay, nice, right? Like, no, this study said so. Like, bro, that is not the way that a real human would take that herb. Okay, you're not an isolated testicle cell, a test tube, you're not a rat. You're not taking this damn one molecule from lion's mane in a 20,000 time dose. Like, please chill the fuck out. But anyway, so yeah, man, I don't even know what the fuck where I'm going with that. Yeah, people got this neurosis going on, right? Craziness. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, these days it's like I want to find the most powerful shit, where I don't have to take a bunch of other crazy stuff and just double down on that. So no, and the most amazing thing is, so let me get back. So what am I taking right now? Yeah, so the ginseng. It's now 9 weeks now, and at first I just felt this like I would say for the average person it would be an overwhelming feeling of yang qi and yang jing. Let's put it that way. When I added the red ginseng into my stack, right? And I've mentioned this before. Panax Red Ginseng is stimulating. Okay, anyone who tells you, oh, it relieves stress and all this shit, that's not the entire thing. You'll know that if you read this awesome book here, that people like me who already have an abundance of energy, especially if you're young and you're healthy and stuff, Panax Red Ginseng is very heating. It's very yang, and that's a real deal thing. And it works as a stimulating tonic, okay? Meaning that not only does it stimulate you in the short term, but it tonifies that energy and your energy to be more sustainable over time. So when you take caffeine, it's like a one and done thing, where it boosts your fucking fight or flight hormones and dopamine and adrenaline for approximately 4 hours, and then you might get a crash. It might mess with your sleep, all this other stuff, right? And I honestly feel like people exaggerate how crazy caffeine is, to be honest. But and I have a video, top 10 additions to your normal caffeine that can take off the edge, that you should probably check out. Ask for the link in the comments and I'll send it to you. But Panax Red Ginseng, on the other hand, it stimulates you for sure. But it's a long thing where the whole fucking day you just feel like a boss. Well, the whole day you feel the stimulant effect, let's put it that way. It definitely increases my ability to sustain work. Your work capacity, your ability to tolerate a lot of work goes way up. That means mental work. That's one of the studies he quoted in the book, actually, is where caffeine enhances your ability to do short-term work, but like you can only focus for short periods of time and simple tasks, right? So let's say you're doing a sport or something. Let's say you're doing boxing and you're sparring with someone, right? Provided it doesn't make you too anxious or whatever, or jittery, it'll increase your short-term kind of reflexes and energy levels for the basic task of like sparring. But if you're trying to do something like play chess or whatever, something more complex, and boxing is pretty much like chess, but anyway, or something like homework, like college work, you get buffed up on caffeine, man, you will not be able to focus. You're gonna be like, I gotta like fucking go run or some shit, right? Unless you use L-theanine with it, right? But ginseng, on the other hand, it does increase your ability to your reaction time and stuff for simple tasks like boxing and whatnot, but also enhances your creativity and your mental faculties for things like doing an essay on history or mathematics or whatever the hell, right? For college work. So yeah, and I've definitely seen this where so honestly, this is something that I wouldn't attribute completely to ginseng, but my ability to sell and to for consultations on nutrition and exercise and stuff like that. And I'm much more effective as a personal trainer, much more effective as a health consultant, and also, when I'm talking to people about buying a package for personal training or whatever, I've become a lot more successful at closing sales, let's put it that way. And I feel like a lot of that does have to do with ginseng enhancing that deep yang jing energy. So, I see a lot of these nootropics YouTube people who use this whole like, enhance your cells type of thing, right? And I like that analogy because it's one thing to say, oh, nootropics saying they help you out with this and this and this. It's another thing to actually have a job that literally requires you to be mentally sharp, focused, and creative on the fly, spontaneously creative, while at the same time needing to be sociable and kind of natural, right? And of course, for me, I'm a naturally social person, natural charisma, yada yada. So but ginseng definitely helps enhance all of these things. So, and also back in the day when I used to, I would run tables trying to get people to sign up for personal training and stuff. It'd be a little exhausting. There's only so much of yourself you can give people before you just feel like you've given too much, or you just need to recharge, right? Well, ginseng allows me to keep giving, and it's like I have this endless pool to draw from, and I'm just like going and going and going. Again, though, these days I'm starting to buy a little bit more into this like Chinese medicine idea of natural, constitutions or whatever, where each person has an individual kind of biological makeup, and your own individual constitution, or whether you're more yang than other people, you're more yin, whatever the case, Um, you know, so for me, I think I naturally have a lot of like, I don't know, I guess what would you say, primordial essence, or a lot of yang jing as it is, right? So I already have a large pool to draw from. People have always told me, hey, your energy, you just got like, where's it come from? But now taking ginseng, I'm like a freaking like tank. Like, keep going and going and going and like, yeah. So anyway, so it's enhanced my ability to perform in my career. You know what I mean? And personal training ain't no joke, man. Like, it is like a marathon the whole time. At least for me, I'm like pacing around, yelling at people. Yelling at my clients, like, "Come on, one more, let's go." Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's go. You know, showing them how to exercise, yada yada, and it's for hours and hours on top of my normal training routine. So yeah, you need a crazy like energy level and aerobic base to do that. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, ginseng has definitely increased all of that. So American ginseng definitely increases your kind of calm and grounded, balanced energy. I would say I feel like American ginseng works more on yin jing, while also slightly boosting your overall kind of like chi. Let's put it that way, right? So it's a more recovery oriented kind of stabilizing herb, American ginseng. Whereas panic ginseng is more rough around the edges. It's like, it's like you feel like you got all this energy, but especially at first, you're like, I don't know if I could handle all this energy. Like, it's a little overwhelming. It's like, this might be overwhelming, right? I don't know how sustainable it is. And so, for those of you who have watched Dragon Ball Z, I need to put it this way, okay? Yes, I'm going to use Dragon Ball Z to, like, explain this. Fuck it. Listen, you remember Super Saiyan 3 Goku, okay? This is exactly how it feels, or how yeah. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? He transformed to Super Saiyan 3, and it was super powerful, and he was like, he could do anything. He could have destroyed Fat Boo, and I don't know why he didn't, all this stuff, right? But he could only sustain that level of energy for a short period of time before he finally burnt out. So I feel like that's kind of like Panax Red Ginseng, but I feel like it's something that you can kind of like learn how to tame over time. And when you do this, and your new baseline level of energy is like, it's being upgraded under the hood, you literally like walk and breathe and live like a Super Saiyan 3, basically. So anyway, that's the way I'll put it. And then I guess, I don't know, American ginseng would be like baseline level of Super Saiyan, where if you remember, they could walk around as a Super Saiyan without any like, burnout or whatever. They could sustain that the entire time. So American ginseng upgrades you under the hood to Super Saiyan. And it's a stable thing that you can sustain. Now your baseline power level is just like through the roof, right? And you can sustain it. But freaking Panax Red Ginseng is like a triple multiplier, where you have like substantially more. And if you can learn to make that your baseline, now it's upgraded. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. All right, let's talk about Reishi. So, added back Hyperion Herbs Reishi about a week ago. But around the same time, I had also, about a week before that, I had added Mucuna. And I don't want to say anything concrete yet, because I'm still kind of like hit or miss on it, on what's doing what. But, Mucuna, of course, in the first week improved my, everything you would expect to improve. Like, music sounded better. I was more motivated to go out and train. I just felt like on top of the world, dopamine type shit, what I generally do anyway, but really enhances that feeling of like, everything is awesome, right? Type of thing, right? That's what Mucuna will do. And I definitely notice my strength goes up a lot faster when I'm taking Mucuna. I'm able to do a little bit more reps, add a little bit more weight more consistently. And I've always found that to be the case. However, after about a week, I started to feel like there was some kind of almost like an anxiety that was building up. It wasn't quite anxiety, but it was more like obsessive compulsive tendencies were increasing. But it might have been other things, life factors or something. Like my thoughts might have just started to go in the wrong place. But yeah, I started to have a little bit of like obsessive compulsive stuff going on in my brain, which is like weird and uncomfortable. But I've not had that happen too frequently with Mucuna. So a lot of people, they fearmonger about Mucuna, and I don't want to add to that. I think it's mostly irrational stuff, right? And I've taken Mucuna every day for long periods of time before, so you know, I just don't think that Mucuna is as dangerous as people think it is. But yeah, removing Mucuna, you don't really notice any withdrawals or anything crazy either. So whether it causes OCD-ness or not is kind of like irrelevant. You just stop taking it and you're fine. And if it was as dangerous as people say, right? Like, oh, it just spiked my dopamine and it killed my dopamine system completely. It's like, bro, you must have been taking some like, I don't know, cocaine or something. Like people are crazy, man. I don't even think Adderall like really hurts people that bad. But then again, I don't know. And I would expect Adderall to do a lot worse than Mucuna, right? People a lot of times like, yeah, Mucuna feels like low-grade methamphetamine or some shit like that. Like, you're crazy if that like I think I only took Adderall when I was really young, like for a week, and I already had way too much energy. Taking Adderall, my mom said I went absolutely crazy. I was running around the doctor's office like uncontrollably and throwing their papers around. Thinking back now, it's hilarious to me because I was misunderstood. I just had a shit ton of energy naturally. Like I was saying before, my natural constitution is lots of yang jing. So, put someone like me as a child on something like Adderall, what do you expect is going to happen? But, they're all crazy. Parents and doctors, they don't know what the fuck's going on. They're self-absorbed. They just want you to be peaceful so that they don't have to work too much, right? Anyway, right? Like if my son's acting crazy, I can't binge watch The Office or whatever. I don't know. And I had a long day at work. I don't need my son running around, so let's tranquilize him. I don't know. That wasn't. I'm not saying that was my parents. I'm just saying that's what a lot of parents do. So anyway, yeah, whatever medication tames him, right? Let's not put it, whatever. And I was in sports and shit too, so I just had so much energy that I needed more sports. Should have been outside at recess all day long, right? God forbid you put someone with my energy in a damn classroom. Anyway, that's why I take tonic herbs. More reishi if I need to be in the classroom. More reishi. Definitely don't take Panax Red Ginseng at a whole teaspoon dose on your first day when you got college. That's what I did, and I was sweating like crazy. That was crazy. That was terrible. But I took other shit too. But anyway. Okay, back on track. Reishi mushroom, motherfuckers. Yeah. Hyperion Herbs Reishi is amazing, okay? So, adding the reishi at nighttime. So, I did that about a week ago. At first, I started with a whole teaspoon, or actually 2 teaspoons. And the next day I had, let's just say, I don't know. I had what did I say? Whatever. Hung out with a friend, let's say. All right. And yeah, no, everything was good. The dopamine effects from the Mucuna I was taking was still there. There was definitely no reduction in sex drive. As a matter of fact, sex drive went up through the fucking roof. I'd say my sexual performance and sexual energy dramatically actually increased on that first day with the 2 teaspoons of reishi. I've actually noticed this with Hyperion Herbs Reishi before, when I took it for a whole month, December of 2021. On top of so it was a teaspoon of reishi, a teaspoon of cordyceps, and then like 500 milligrams of rhodiola. I noticed my sex drive just tremendously, like it went crazy, which is interesting considering there's a lot of people out there that insist it kills their DHT and all this other crazy shit. And I've had that experience with cheaper reishi. I've had some weird experiences with cheaper reishi. But Hyperion Herbs, if you use it right, if you're not taking it in the morning, especially at a high dose, it's great. So anyway, though, I was noticing, man, because I was taking a whole teaspoon consistently at the nighttime this past week or whatever, that it was just too powerful the next day. Like I'd go to work, personal training and stuff, and I'd go train and stuff, and I just felt way too tired. It felt like it slowed my reflexes and all these other things. Now, the thing is, I was taking such a high amount, though. You got to understand. This is what I keep telling people. People, they go to the grocery store when I tell them about these herbs. They buy, like, the name brand mushrooms, like Om mushrooms or Host Defense. And they take these things, and it's like the worst forms you can get. Not potent, not worth the money at all. It's expensive as fuck considering what you're getting. And then they're like, oh, yeah, Reishi's great. I take it, blah, blah, blah. I've been taking it for a whole year. Meanwhile, they're taking, like, the damn Reishi mycelium, and it's like half of it is, like, brown rice solids. And it's not a concentrated extract. Bro, like, how the fuck do you fill any of that crap, right? And then they switch over to Hyperion Herbs Reishi. You think you'd still take a whole fucking teaspoon or whatever. And then it's so fucking powerful that it blows your socks off. Well, or it puts your socks on. It feels like you're living in a sock. Like you're living in a sock now. Nah, a spiritual sock with like spiritual potency that breaks the sock open. No, it's not. I don't even know what the fuck that means. But yeah. It's powerful as fuck, though, is what I'm saying. You go from the store-bought bullshit that isn't really that great, like, not potent at all, taking a whole teaspoon. You're like, yeah, I worked myself up to a whole teaspoon. Yeah, this Om mushrooms, mycelium brown rice powder is great. And then you take Hyperion Herbs, like, yeah, I took a teaspoon of Hyperion Herbs, and, like, I had a fucking, like, existential crisis, or I don't know. Really, it knocked me out, bro. Like I slept the best sleep ever, 12 hours, and then the next day I just felt like way too chill or whatever. At least for me, that tends to be it. So I'd lower the dose, take it at nighttime, half a teaspoon of reishi before bed, and suddenly, what's interesting is, so this is how I do it. Like I've taken a fourth of a teaspoon before bed of Hyperion Herbs Reishi. Puts me to sleep or enhances my sleep. My sleep cycles regulate, 'cause especially lately I've had weird sleep cycles. I've had where I would go from like 4 a.m. in the morning somehow to suddenly falling asleep naturally by midnight. And now my sleep cycle's regulated. And then I have dreams again. Like back in, like for the longest time, like when I go to sleep, I didn't have dreams. Taking reishi, I have dreams now. It's amazing. And then the next day, like, it grounds my energy. So this is the missing piece, right? If you're taking all this crazy, like, red Panax ginseng and stuff like I'm taking, and you feel like it's too much, for one, lower the fucking dose of the Panax Red Ginseng, okay? But take reishi before bed at the right dose and only take the highest quality stuff, like the 16-to-1 or 10-to-1 dual extract or hot water extract. So taking the reishi from Hyperion Herbs, half teaspoon before bed. Now what I feel is it takes all that ungrounded yang from the fucking red ginseng, the Panax ginseng, and it kind of condenses it down inside of you. This is how I feel. This is the best way to describe it. All of this technical jargon and all the dopamine and receptor site crap that I was talking about for years, how to describe herbs and stuff, I don't believe it's effective anymore. is because it's incompatible. It's not. If you really want to feel like a fucking superhuman boss, okay, and you really want that like superhuman freaking energy, you need to start thinking about herbs differently. You need to start to think about herbs in the same sense that traditional Chinese medicine taught them. Okay, you need to buy. I have the book around here somewhere. You need to buy Ron Teagarden's book on herbs, Chinese tonic herbs, and start to think in terms of yang jing and whatnot. So anyway, jing qi and shen and yang yin yang, and then the elements and things and hot and cold. So anyway, yeah. So I feel like American ginseng is like a foundation booster. It's like that foundational boost in energy and recovery and just upgrading every fucking thing, making your digestion work better and everything else, and just having a stable foundation. I feel like Panax Red Ginseng is like, it's like putting electricity into that foundation, electricity in the house, where everything's like vibrating violently, okay? And it's great if you can maintain that shit, right? If you're like me and you have a very powerful kind of like, you know, and it gets more and more efficient over time the longer you take the Panax Red Ginseng. And then when I added reishi on top of that, it takes all that electricity and condenses it into the center of the house, and it stabilizes it, but doesn't numb it though. It's still there. You have more control over that energy. That's what I feel like. Reishi puts me into more control, you know. And people with what they call ADHD, right? It's not a real disease though, but someone with ADHD supposedly, I believe reishi mushroom combined with probably American ginseng would probably be great. But I think reishi is what you probably need, because it takes all that scatterbrain, like crap, and it condenses it down to where, oh shit, I can go in a straight line at this moment to what needs to be done. Okay, staying on topic, staying on task. It takes that crazy light that is all over the room, and you're like, oh my god, there's all these things that are going on at once in my brain, and it's like, boom, it's like, ooh, all of that stuff centered into this, boom. Anyway, so that's it. So a couple other things about reishi. Reishi has definitely enhanced my ability to use, let's just say, law of attraction, manifestation, Neville Goddard, and these types of concepts. I think it enhances, you know, when I have something that I'm trying to achieve in life. I have a goal or something, and I'm thinking about it. I've noticed the visualizations come into my mind more kind of clearly, more faster, more clear, okay? It's kind of created a stronger connection to the source energy. That's what I feel like. Coming from a super scientific kind of like YouTube content shit for a long time, and you know, it's hearing this from me might be a completely different change, but it's kind of what I really feel. Okay, it's pretty awesome actually. Another thing is reishi tends to it seems to subtly nudge me in the direction of the goals that I want. So when I don't take reishi, like I have these things I want to accomplish in life, and like I'm taking action, but it's scattered action, right? You know, and I'm doing a lot of things that work, but I'm like wasting a lot of energy, I think, or like beating around the bush, or there's things that I know I need to do, but I'm just like not getting around to it or whatever. Reishi tends to kind of like remove all the wasted paths, remove all the inefficient paths, remove all the potential options that might not lead you to where you need to go, and it helps guide you towards the path that is the most efficient path, that is the path with the least distractions. It helps you just get it done, right? So reishi, a couple of things like, I don't want to go into too much detail, but like Rishi's helped me Um, it's given me it's given me ideas and premonitions and feelings of urges, like extreme, like inspired action, right? To go back to college, after the pandemic a while ago, to apply for certain jobs that are in alignment with my vision, and also nudge me towards, let's just say, career opportunity, that's super badass, that is in alignment with winning medals and all this other shit. Also, yeah, just helps you take action that is in alignment with what you want. Let's put it that way. I don't want to get too specific about things that happened to me, but it's pretty badass, right? But look, yes, like whatever you're working through in that moment, okay, I think it helps. So what I would recommend people, since we're on this kind of note, right? I would recommend reading the book The Power of Awareness by No. Read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill first. Just read that book. Don't listen to all the crazy shit people say about Napoleon Hill. The fact is, whether whatever his legitimacy of his claims were about where he got the information from, there are hundreds of very successful people who have followed the advice in Think and Grow Rich and became millionaires and extremely successful in fields that have nothing to do with, law of attraction or whatever. Read the book Think and Grow Rich. I highly recommend it. And start taking, American ginseng and maybe try red Panax ginseng on top of it, but then add reishi. Only the top shit though. And I would highly recommend Hyperion Herbs Reishi. Highly recommend Hyperion Herbs Reishi, okay? And if you do try Hyperion Herbs Reishi and you like it, definitely leave a review on the website and let them know, hey, I heard this from Wolfgang or whatever, right? I heard this from Wolfgang. But nonetheless, take it, okay? And I do have a discount code, but I don't remember it. And for me, it's not about profit. It's about sharing these super awesome things and having other people also experience the crazy superhuman benefits that I do, right? Anyway, yeah, I feel like that combination, understanding how the mind works, understanding how there's this thing that's beyond you that you can tap into and help you be successful. Okay, meaning, achieving the goals that you need, or the money that you need, or the relationships and the friendships that you need, but also in a way that is inspired, that is, badass, awesome, fun, whatever. And, yeah, a more efficient path. Because the average human suffering on the path, they're doubtful on the path, they're crying, all this other crazy shit. And I think that there's a better way to do things. And I think if you read Think and Grow Rich, and you combine the tactics in that book with tonic herbs, reishi and ginseng, honestly. I'm also taking rhodiola and cordyceps, but these are the ones I think are the most important. If you do that, then I think you'll find, the path is way more awesome than you once thought, right? So this is actually where I've kind of come to, right? And I think the right nutrition protocol will come to you from that as well. People who are dealing with, health issues and stuff, I think if you read Think and Grow Rich, and maybe in The Power of Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy might help you as well. The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard I like better than Joseph Murphy, but The Power of Subconscious Mind combined with Think and Grow Rich is great. Yeah, I think you'll find the answers to your health problems. And instead of looking to a guru to tell you, hey, what should you eat? What kind of career advice should you do? Instead of looking to a guru to tell you, hey, how do I get better with women? Which to me is crazy these days, because I recognize there's no special line that you can say to a girl. There's no, fake it till you make it bullshit. That is so dumb. Uh, you have to literally become something different, something that's in a line. You have to literally, like, not for the purpose of obtaining it, but you literally have to become what it is that you want. Okay, you get to actually become it. You can't pretend. You got to become it, right? That's just not. It's just way beyond most people's average paradigm. Anyway, it's got to be natural though. So where the fuck was I going with all that? I don't even remember. But yeah, reishi mushroom is fucking awesome. You just gotta take the right fucking dose. Yeah, and if you think whatever, yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, still listen to me for nutrition advice, motherfuckers. But if my shit doesn't work, if my advice for nutrition doesn't work, then do what they say and Think and Go Rich. Use auto-suggestion, and your kind of intuition and your internal guidance will help guide you towards something better. But I don't like saying that because then people do raw veganism and end up like super malnourished and it's like, what is it? Schizophrenic. Like, my intuition told me, brah. Like fucking Source Energy told me to go raw vegan or so it's like I don't even know if that's good advice. All I know is I don't know. Yeah, all I know is that I don't know, motherfuckers. All right, I gotta finish this coffee, goddammit, and I gotta get out and I gotta get my training in. Gonna squat to a single at 9, okay, and then do some back down sets, and then I'm gonna see how my pressing feels today and get some. It's probably some. Yeah, get some benching over at press in, and then do some other shit. And then train a bunch of clients, and hopefully sleep a bunch this weekend, and do some other crazy shit this weekend with a good friend. So we'll see. All right. Hope y'all are doing amazing. Happy 4th of July. Let me know in the comments what you thought about all this. And all the stuff I'm talking about, though, remember, it's a constant experimentation thing. None of this stuff that I'm telling y'all is like the absolute truth, okay? Even if I sound like I think it is, okay? It's a experimentation. Y'all know I did a plant-based diet for like 4 years and failed miserably, completely fucked up my digestive system and my skin, even though I thought plant-based diet was like the way to go. And then I switched over to like a animal-based paleo type of diet and resolved all my issues and literally went against everything I thought was true. So, you got on, bias and dogma, like thinking that you know the fucking truth. It's good to believe in something and that's important, but just know that, if something's not fucking working for you, all right, it's a good idea to kind of question your beliefs, okay? So I don't want people to think that I have it all. Because if I change my views, then I change my views. It's through experimentation. So, I don't know. Have a great one, y'all. Happy 4th of July. Let me know in the comments what you think and your experiments and everything else. And I'll talk to y'all next time.